What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about 101 unique facts about Norway. I never get tired of learning about all the crazy, interesting, weird, and unique stuff about Norway, especially when you compare Norway to America. It's amazing how many things are generally similar, but so many more things are different and just culturally different. And the most random things will be different and unique in Norway. The way things are done, the things that you choose to do and the way you do them and all that kind of stuff, it just permeates through the culture and it's fascinating. So this video here, it's got 101 different facts. Pretty amazing. I'm very interested in hearing them. I think this video is going to be multiple parts because there's no way I'm going to be able to get through all this, but it's okay. We will, in due time, get to all 100 facts. So let us begin. 101 unique facts about Norway.
Number 1. Say hello to Norway, or rather doff your cap and do a curtsy, because this is the Kingdom of Norway, don't you know? It's one of those
The Kingdom of Norway? Is it really... Is that a title Norway has? Like, can you call it the Kingdom of Norway? Is it technically a kingdom?
cool Scandinavian countries that likes to hang out in northwestern Europe wearing cardigans and solving murders. Number 2. The capital is Oslo, which is also backwards, sort of. Anyway, it was founded in about 1050, and as of the 27th of February 2020...
1050? I didn't realize Oslo was founded in 1050. Almost 1,000 years ago. That's so cool. It's almost exactly 1,000 years ago. In just 27 years. 1,000 years since Oslo was founded. Wow.
The municipality of Oslo has a population of around 693,491.
Okay.
Number 3. The city is sometimes known under the nickname the Tiger City.
Wow. I expected to know some of these, but so far, I haven't heard many of these facts before. The Tiger City? Is Oslo really known as the Tiger City? Like, Norwegians say that? The Tiger City? I've never heard that.
Probably inspired by an 1870 poem by Bjornstjerne Bjornson, which referenced then Christiania in central Oslo, not because they're fans of Joe Exotic. The nickname is mostly used by Norwegians from out of town, and rarely by those in the actual Oslo region. Number 4. The city used to be called Christiania, after a fire ripped through Oslo in 1624. King Christian IV of
Wait, it changed its name? Oslo was not always Oslo? It changed his name after a fire. Gosh, I didn't know that either.
Denmark and Norway ordered the city to be rebuilt across the bay, near a Kirches castle, and called the New Oslo Christiania. Number 5. Oslo was kept for the now poor suburb where the original city stood, which today is known as Gamlebyen. After many years of fierce debate, the original name of Oslo was restored in 1925.
Okay.
Number 6. Oslo residents are some of the healthiest people in Norway. 19% of the population is overweight, which compares favourably to the national average of 28%. The survey also found that Oslo drinks...
Only 28% of Norwegians are overweight. I think America... No. Let's be honest. I know America has one of the most overweight populations on Earth. So, that's amazing. Like, that's amazing Norway is, like, on top of it that much. Wow.
Less sugary soft drinks than average, and the numbers walking at least 30 minutes per day are better than average.
Yeah.
Number 70. They've also got a severe case of the Joysies, because Norway is the second happiest country in the world, beaten by the finish line by, you guessed it, the line's named after them, the Finnish.
I don't know when this video was made. 2 years ago? Yeah, I'm sure Norway ranks, like, near the top of one of the happiest places on Earth. Very regularly, like every year.
Number 8. And according to the 2013 Global Peace Index, Norway is one of the most peaceful countries in the world, ranking 18th out of 163 countries.
Yeah, I mean, as an American, from my point of view, I never hear about, like, with global conflicts going on, past and present, I really hardly ever hear about Norway getting, like, militarily involved. That's just from my point of view. But yeah, and it's a good thing, honestly.
A lack of war and violence making people happier? What kind of nonsense is this?
Yeah.
Number 9. Speaking of Oslo, by the way, the Nobel Prize Awards are held in Oslo in the City Hall every autumn. Whether or not they will be this year, who knows. But nice to know the location you head if you feel kind of noble.
I can't believe I didn't know that for the longest time, that the Nobel Prize had anything to do with Norway. I had no idea. That was so random to me.
Number 10. They love Nobel Prizes so damn much, there's also a Nobel Peace Centre where visitors can find out more about the prize that's been given out since 1903.
Okay.
Number 11. From the 14th to the 25th of February 1952, Oslo held the Winter Olympics. Norway topped the medal table with 16 medals, of which 7 were gold, so they clearly weren't very Oslo.
Of course, when Norway hosted the Winter Olympics, of course they slaughtered everyone again in, like, all the skiing and winter sports. Oh my god. That must have been fun to have it in Norway and also to dominate as well.
Oslo. There's only so many puns I can make here, guys. Number 12. The river that goes through the city is pretty unique as it has 2 spellings. Where some will say Akaselva, others will say Akaselven. This is similar to my name. Some people call me Sam, and some people call me Dick for some reason, even though my name's not Richard. Weird. Number 13.
Okay.
Norway shares its borders with 3 countries, Russia and Finland to the northeast, but these are tiny compared to the whopping 1,600-kilometre border it shares with Sweden, the longest entirely inside Europe.
Oh my gosh, I am so bad at geography that before I started learning about Norway, man, I barely even knew where Norway was. Like, as an adult, like most Americans, most adult Americans don't know where a lot of the Scandinavian, European countries are on a map, let alone what borders what. Seriously, I feel much better now that I know more about this stuff, because I was downright embarrassed. But it's not just me. It's most Americans, honestly, are terrible at geography of places that are not America, basically.
Unlucky Russia and Ukraine. Number 14. When you think of Norwegian territory, you probably think of this long, thin thing with a massive gangly bit on the end. That's snuggled up next to Sweden, but look up and you'll find the island of Svalbard, which has been part of the Kingdom of Norway since 1925.
Svalbard. I need to learn more about Svalbard, honestly. That would make a good video.
Number 15. Svalbard is unique as it's a visa-free zone. That means anyone from any country can go there to live or work.
What?
In some cases, immigrants who are denied a visa to live in mainland Norway move to the island, live there for 7 years, become Norwegian citizens, and then move back to Norway. You know,
What?
the long dangly bit.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought there were places like that in the world. No visa. Anyone can live there? That's so weird. Okay, it's kind of cool, too.
I can't say that with a straight face. Number 16. Approximately 5.4 million people live in Norway, giving a population smaller than London. Plus, those lucky Norwegians have a load more space too, with the country rocking 385,178 kilometres squared of territory.
Oh, Norway's population density is one of the most awesome things about being Norwegian, I think, would be like how awesome Norway is and how there's not, relatively speaking, not a lot of people. It's so cool.
Bonus fact, that's bigger than London and my flat. Number 17. Oslo is Norway's most ethnically diverse city too. 25% of the city's population were born elsewhere, and an additional 7.8% were born to immigrant parents. Most of the city's population with an immigrant background come from Pakistan, followed by Poland, Sweden, and Somalia.
Wow.
Number 18. All that space means Norway has a population density of just 15 people per square kilometre.
Wow.
The only place in the whole of Europe you're less likely to bump into someone is Iceland.
So Norway is one of the least dense countries, like that and Iceland. Yeah, I thought so.
No, not that one. The Nordic one. It has just 3.5 people per square kilometre.
What?
Number 19. While we're on the subject of Nordic countries, Norway is both Nordic and Scandinavian, but what's the difference, I hear at least one of you ask? Well, sit down and strap in, because it's going to get complicated. First off,
The difference between Nordic and Scandinavian. This is actually really helpful. I need to hear this.
we've got the Scandinavian Peninsula, which refers to... And strap in, because it's going to get complicated. First off, we've got the Scandinavian Peninsula, which refers to mainland Norway, mainland Sweden, and this bit of Finland. Number 20. Then we've got the more common...
Oh, well, that kinda helped. That kinda helped. I'm not sure I really understand, but okay.
Sweden, and this bit of Finland. Number 20. Then we've got the more common definition of Scandinavia, which includes Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, but not that tiny bit of Finland. These three kingdoms are part of the continental Scandinavian language group and share languages descended from Old Norse. Still with me? No? Well, it's not going to get any better. Number 21. Because now it's time for the Nordic countries. Now, these include Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, and their associated bits and pieces. This geographical grouping share cultural links and were once all united as part of the Kalmar Union back in the 15th century.
Okay. I was wondering what the relationship between Nordic countries was, and it turns out there's a historical relationship. Okay, that helps a bit. That actually does.
22. It's fairly common for English speakers to use Nordic and Scandinavian interchangeably, but when you're referring to Norway, you can't be wrong in this regard, since it's in both.
Phew.
So, phew.
Phew.
Number 23. Of course, as an English speaker, I'm used to calling Norway, well, Norway. But in the local lingo, it's actually called Norge or Noreg.
Yes. I only know that because of Alt for Norge, the TV show, that Norway is said differently in Norway. Yeah.
Two different names? Well, that's because the Norwegian language has two different written forms, bokmal and njorsk. Although 85 to 90% of Norwegians use bokmal, so I guess Norge is the winner.
Yeah, I know a little bit about Norwegian dialect and that, and the written form, and I'm at least aware of that stuff, so I kind of know what we're talking about here.
Number 24. The name Norway has traditionally been thought to mean North Way or a way leading to the north.
Sure.
But seeing as that's the, easy answer, there's debate about whether or not that's true. Alternative theories say the name actually means the way with the narrow fjords and lakes, the inlet country, or that it was named after King Nor, a mythological king who was short in stature.
Really?
Number 25. People have lived in Norway for ages. Number 26. I'm joking, imagine if that was it. The truth is, evidence of humans doing their thing in Norway goes back around 12,000 years.
Wow.
But a kingdom of Norway, similar to the one we might recognise today, didn't come into existence until 872. Number 26.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, America, well, at least America, as it is now, does not have a very long history. Not long at all. So it's kind of cool to learn about Norway. Obviously, there were, native inhabitants of America long before America existed. But, yeah, it's just interesting, how America as we know it today does not really have that long of a existence, a history. It's interesting.
Prior to that date, Norway was basically Game of Thrones on steroids, with the land divided up between at least 20 rulers, each ruling their own petty kingdoms.
Oh.
Number 27.
Wow, that really is like Game of Thrones. Actually, seriously. Bunch of lords and kings, all ruling parts of Norway. Oh my gosh.
All that changed at the Battle of Hafrsfjord, sometime between 872 and 900. Where the Viking chief Harald Fairhair, what a great name, won victory and crowned himself the first king of the Norwegians, and who has a better story than Fairhair?
Wow.
Number 28. Well, his successor does. Eric Haraldsson earned himself the nickname Blood Axe by killing his brother so he could sit on the throne. That's brothers, plural, by the way.
What? This really is Game of Thrones. What? You got this first guy who became the first king of all Norwegians, and then a person who killed his brother to become king. Oh my gosh, and this is real. This is real history.
According to the sagas, Eric had 19 of them, but the brother killer only managed to murder between 4 and 7 bros, and ultimately lost the Norwegian crown to one of his younger siblings. Respect to Fairhair though, 20 sons, he must have been knackered. Number 29. Norway and Vikings are like fish and chips, or Sam and Jennifer. They just go together.
Yeah.
Those Luton Tootin raiders come from all over Scandinavia, but the actual term Viking might specifically come from a part of Norway. One theory suggests that the word Viking refers to a person from Viken, a part of Norway not too far from Oslo.
I have always wondered where the term Viking even comes from, or technically who is a Viking. Americans are obsessed with Vikings, by the way. There's like a million Viking TV shows. They are pretty awesome, to be honest.
Now, for fans of pillaging and violence, go check out 101 Facts About Vikings. After
Oh.
this one, obviously. Number 30. After a period of civil war between 1130 and 1240, which saw over 20 kings and pretenders to the throne battle it out for supremacy again, Norway finally found a bit of peace and quiet, until 1349. That year, a mysterious ghost ship arrived in Bergen Harbour, and it wasn't carrying presents for the locals.
Huh?
Number 31.
A ghost ship? Are we going to learn more about this, the ghost ship arriving in Bergen Harbor? Norway has some of the most fascinating history that almost sounds made up, to be honest. It's so interesting.
Legend has it the boat set sail from England, but on its journey the crew had been struck down with a horrible disease, leaving the boat to drift into Norwegian territory. On board was the Grim Reaper and the Black Death, or maybe Thanos, because they subsequently infected the country and killed up to 40 to 50% of the entire Norway population.
Oh.
Number 32.
Wow.
Things didn't get much better for Norway when King Olaf IV died suddenly in 1387, and spoiler alert, he would be the last Norwegian king born on Norwegian soil for more than 550 years. After Olaf kicked the bucket, Norway became part of the Kalmar Union with its Scandi neighbours Denmark and Sweden.
Okay.
Number 33.
Wow. Wow. Norway has such a complicated history. Wow. I'm sure all Norwegians are taught this in school growing up, but as an American, like, this is very fascinating, and like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Sadly, things weren't exactly neighbourly inside the Kalmar Union, with Denmark acting like it owned the place. In 1523, Sweden packed its bags, said goodbye, and became independent. That left Norway to fend for itself against Denmark, who went power mad between 1536 and 37, essentially relegating Norway to the status of a Danish province, and forced it to accept Protestantism.
Yeah, I do remember like this kind of historical relationship between Denmark and Norway. I learned a little about this. It's a little fuzzy, but I am really enjoying this video. It's got a bit of everything, man. I wasn't expecting this. It's got random kind of fun things about Norway, a little bit about its history of Norway, about the geography, about some of the stuff there. It's a bunch of facts that I've never really heard before, which I wasn't necessarily expecting, but I'm very happy. I'm very happy. Like, most of this is like totally new to me. This is amazing. But I think I'm going to stop it right there. We're at number 33, 34. So we're about 1/3 of the way done. My gosh, there's a lot of unique facts about Norway, but that's fantastic. That's amazing. I'm looking forward to continuing this in part 2. So feel free to stop by for part 2 of this series, which will come out after this video. So if you enjoyed this one, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you enjoyed this and you'd like to see more of this, me reacting to Norway, Norwegian culture, stuff like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.